I have a feeling, looking back, protected opinion is going to be one of those words that we have decided is going to be a part of the dictionary, all one word, by the end of 2022. That's why I want to discuss the Facebook fact checkers and other ways social media is taking over our lives, and bring in investigative journalist Ben Swan and Reese Everson, founder of the Blush Project. Like I said, I'm loving these new words that are being created. Protected opinion, and who actually gets to distinguish that? You've both heard Natasha's package. Ben, let's start with you. What does this mean for Facebook to basically admit their quote-unquote fact checkers is based on opinion, protected opinion, that is?
Right. Well, it's a nonsensical term, right? Either it's protected speech or it's not. We would call that free speech, right? They have free speech. The problem is, and I've been saying this for well over a year, I've documented very heavily, by the way, Facebook's censorship of people online, including myself, by the way. I've had a ton of pieces that Facebook has labeled as misinformation because of their third-party fact checkers. The problem is, in my case, as well as many others, is there have even been times when Facebook's fact checkers admit they didn't even bother to read or watch the video that's on the platform. They simply label it this way. And so here's what's interesting. So in order to be defamatory, right, what Stossel is saying is that Facebook's fact checkers are calling him a liar. They're saying that he is lying and putting misinformation out into the public. And his claim is, I'm not. The fact is, I'm presenting facts and information as part of this report, and Facebook is smearing me by putting a label on my content that calls me a liar. Facebook's saying, no, we're not smearing you. We can call you a liar because that's just our opinion or the opinion of our fact checkers. But here's the problem in the system is that the fact checkers have all the power. It's all weighted towards them. So when they call John Stossel or Ben Swan or Scotty Nell Hughes a liar, their ruling gets to stand. If we respond by saying we're not liars, here's the information that we're putting out that are facts, we don't have equal standing to be able to combat that, appeal the process, or be able to push back against this claim that's put on there. So I don't think, personally, that Facebook's claim here in court is going to go very far, because I feel like they're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to claim protected opinion while giving that protected opinion enormous weight compared to the people that are being smeared.
All while they get to sleep at night thinking that it has nothing to do specifically with their company. Reese, your take.
Absolutely. So here's the interesting thing. As we know, Facebook's a private company. The First Amendment does not apply to a private company. However, because it's a law and it's a foundational law in America, it's a set of values. It's more than just the law. It's a set of values and a way of thinking that Americans generally share. And so that role that it plays of freedom of speech in our democratic society is being pushed back on by Facebook, and it's giving a lot of people just a bad vibe. First of all, you're right. When you say something on Facebook, the last thing you want is the Joe Wilson hollering in the back, "You lie." No one asks Facebook to fact check things that people say, especially if they're not willing to fact check what politicians say. They're willing to let politicians say whatever they want, but then when a private individual like you or I say whatever it is that we think, we have someone fact checking us. And that's not what we signed up for with Facebook in the first place. And it's definitely not something that a mega company that governs something like a communication platform, it's not something they should be involved in. Again, we're anti, as an American, we're generally anti-restriction of our freedoms, and something that's so censorship heavy is just really uncomfortable.
Well, and this goes back to the question, is Facebook a platform, an information platform, or does it actually create information itself? And when you sit there and say you have these fact checkers who have protected opinions, it seems to be that you're actually an aggregator yourself. But I guess that's all going to be decided by a judge. But Reese, I want to get your take on this. You know, due to Meta's own data about their social media apps affecting teenagers, the UK cosmetic company Lush, for many of you that don't know, it's kind of like a soap, make your own kind of soap and lotion type of product, has now deleted all of their social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, which is a really big deal for businesses in the 2021. No small move. Combined, those accounts could add up to 10.6 million followers. And CEO Mark Constantine actually came out and said the move would cost him to the tune of $13 million in revenue. I think that's actually very light. But guess what? He was happy to do this. So Reese, is this the future for protecting mental health, or is this just a one-off trying to capitalize on some sort of publicity stunt?
Yeah, I appreciate where Mark Constantine is going and wanting to say that we make soap with with only organic products and ingredients. So we want to make sure that our consumers are accessing us on platforms that are only organic and healthy to them. But that's the equivalent of saying, you know what, we're going to close our stores or locations where there's a McDonald's because we don't want you to stop at McDonald's and have a Happy Meal or a McChicken on your way to pick up our products. You just can't govern that sort of thing. People who are, buying these soaps or just any consumer this day and age, they want access to the companies that they buy from. And so to remove your presence from Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is really doing a huge disservice. I don't really see an upside to it. It seems like a play for attention. Like I said, unless you're going to remove your location from every mall where they sell Chick-fil-A or anything that's deemed possibly unhealthy, then you're really not able to govern that.
Well, once again, I don't think anybody's going to delete their social media account because a soap product is not going to. Real quick, Ben, to you. Another story on how social media knows everything about us. Facebook, TikTok, all these companies are able to gather information about our interest, habits, pinpoint who we are. A woman says that her social media knew she was gay while she was divorcing her husband, and she didn't even know it yet. Is this a woke agenda or a scary example of how they have the algorithm so figured out to pick out exactly something about you, even if you don't know that's who you are yet?
Well, I think part of it could be her also reading into it a little bit. But yes, I think that the algorithms know what you look at. They know what you're interested in. They're gathering so much information from so many different points about you. It's not that they know this about you ahead of time, but they certainly know what your interests are. So while she may not recognize all of her outwardly behavior, she certainly might have been leaning interest-wise towards certain things that are keen within the algorithms. Remember, the algorithms aren't just pulling from one set of information either. It's so many of these companies are pulling from multiple sources of information, not only from our Google search histories to our social media habits, what we look at, what we shop for. I mean, it's so many different things. And so some of it might be coincidental, some of it's being read into, but some of it is also definitely in terms of algorithms. They are monitoring and have a very strong idea about what we're doing. Last thing, very quickly, back to the Facebook thing, if I can just say, we talk about free speech and a company and a private company, what they can do. Remember that private companies, whether they're TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, do not have a right to defame. Right? No matter what speech you allow, you don't have the right to defame.
And someone might take those little reminders or whatever little logo that they put at the bottom of you as actual defamation. That will be an interesting case once someone brings that to a courtroom, probably soon. Ben, Reese, great to talk with you.
You as well.